The Young Turks did a video where they called me ugly because I talked about attraction privilege. I don't know how you call it, beauty privilege or whatever.
I love that so much because Tim Pool is someone who's unmarried and childless at his big age. I really wouldn't be bragging about attraction privilege because it's clearly not favored you, my friend. But this morning, Emma Vigeland debated Tim Pool on his show. Apparently it's called The Culture War. I didn't even know he came up with names for his shows. I thought it was all Timcast. Anyway, towards the end of the debate, Tim Pool got really sad and salty about us over here at TYT, calling him ugly. But watch as he proceeds to call all left-wingers ugly.
And I was talking about how conservatives are more likely to be attractive because it's easier to go through life as an attractive person. Thus, you're given benefits that you associate to your abilities instead of society, resulting in a conservative worldview. And those who are less attractive have it harder, resulting in a collectivist worldview. And instead of just like telling me I was wrong, they just called me ugly.
Well, I mean, do you have statistics to back up your their? But who decides who's ugly and who's unattractive?
So they did studies where they would show images of people to men and women and ask them to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, then create a curve of attraction. And those people that they showed pictures of, they had interviewed them on their political leanings and found a correlation between attraction and political leaning. I'm sorry, beauty, perceived beauty, and political leanings. But this is like not even controversial among the left. This is privilege, right?
Hey, if we're on the right side of things and we're uglier, I'm totally fine with that.
So we think we found the super crusty study that Tim Pool is referencing in that clip. So let's get into some of the claims being made in that study. From Yahoo Life, according to a study published in the Journal of Public Economics, attractive-looking politicians have an advantage when it comes to winning votes. And researchers have also concluded that conservative party members from Europe, Australia, and the United States tend to be more beautiful than liberal candidates. A team of researchers from Sweden, Prague, and Germany theorized that Republicans are better looking than Democrats and that voters who lean right value beauty more in a low information setting. This is based on the observation that beautiful people earn more and that people with higher expected lifetime income are relatively more opposed to redistribution. The authors of the study asserted. The study, to me, though, seems to be very biased. So let's take a look at the methodology for it. Investigators asked participants to rate photos of politicians based in Finland, Australia, and the United States based solely on their looks. Their assessments were based on the following question: what is your evaluation of the physical appearance or attractiveness of this person compared to the average among people living in your country of residence? The volunteers, as the team expected, rated more right-wingers as being more handsome or beautiful. Aside from the author's economic explanation, they offered this psychological theory that good-looking people are more likely to perceive the world as a just place since they are treated better than others, achieve higher status, and are happier. And a frequent reason for people to sympathize with the left is a perception of the world as unfair. Along the same lines, the researchers added that greater self-reported attractiveness is negatively related to a preference for egalitarianism, typically associated with the left. The study also went so far as to make a claim about right-wing voters. It said, as for US elections, the authors suggest that Republican voters are more likely to care about a candidate's appearance based on limited information about the candidates. However, during high information political races, the playing field tends to even out. Now, Cenk, I've seen some of the right-wing politicians and we're gonna go through a bunch of them together. But before we do that, I mean, this is just, first of all, Tim, I really, in your position, you have the same beanie on, you've been wearing it for a decade now. Like, you're really not well situated to talk about how your side is more attractive.
Yeah, so that's the trick I wanna get to here, because like he makes it sound like, and this is a classic Tim Pool misdirection, right? He's like, oh no, I think the people on the left, because they're so ugly, they care about others and they want to work together collectively. I'm just being really nice to the left. I mean, they're like hideously ugly, but I've got a study and I'm just. It's great that they want to work together. I mean, as hideously unattractive as they are. And then when we say, hey, Tim, I'm not sure you're a looker either. And he's like, oh, I can't believe they said that about me. When I was saying it about all of them. And I say it's a classic Tim Pool trick because he's like, and he apparently said it with Emma in that interview a couple of times too. He's like, oh no, I'm on the left. Dude, that trick is like decades old. Like,
right.
Like after Dave Rubin, you're still like, that was so long ago, let alone that it's been done dozens of times. You're still going to that well of like, I'm a left winger, but I think Nick Fuentes has an interesting point about Nazis. I think like, like maybe the black people are inferior to us, but I'm on the left. I'm on the left, and I'm here to tell you that it turns out my demographic is awesome and super hot and really smart and like not at all violent, and everyone else is violent and dumb and ugly. But me, I'm moderate. I'm left. I'm right wing. No, not at all. Come on, man. It's so transparent. Really said,
I'm on the left, but Donald Trump is going to win in a 50-state landslide.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Okay, then you're an idiot. You're like the dumbest guy on the planet. 50-state state landslide, and you're on the left. So you've been you know your community, and you're like, you know what? I think progressives in Hawaii, I think they switched over to Trump. I did. I think Rhode Island's going Trump because I'm in the leftist community and I know. But like according to his theory, the left is less attractive, and he's on the left. So I guess he shouldn't catch feelings over being called ugly at all. I'm just using Tim Pool logic. Look, guys, in terms of the study, do attractive people have an advantage? Yeah, of course. Could they feel more entitled? Yeah, I could see that, right? But I think the critical part of the study is greater self-reported attractiveness is negatively related to preference for egalitarianism typically associated with the left. I think that the whole study is massively questionable, but that part of it begins to explain it. They're like, they ask people and they're like, yeah, I think I'm super hot. And that's why I don't need anybody, and I'm a right winger. Yeah, that sounds like Tim Pool. Except he was like, oh, I'm a right winger, but that's inconvenient. That'll make it seem like I'm just agreeing with my own side. Oh, I know. I've got a brilliant new idea. I will pretend to be on the left and then agree with everything on the right. Next thing you know, he's going to come up with a study about how right wingers are smarter. Okay, yeah, Tim, try to come up with that one. See how that goes.
Right. So how about we conduct our own study and let's use our own images of right-wing politicians to figure out if they're actually more attractive than left-wing politicians.
Yeah, this is going to be a good study. Let's see. Everybody's doing objective studies, so let's do one.
Right, and let's start with the blobfish himself, Senator Ted Cruz. I mean, this is a man.
Oh, what a looker! No, what a looker! Let's see.
No one could ever accuse being attractive.
No one's ever accused him of that, Ray. I think you're right. But if you asked him, he probably in a self-assessment, super hot. Yep, that's why I'm headed to Cancun right now. Get some. Okay.
Next, we've got Steve Bannon.
Oh yeah. Oh, these right wingers, they're lookers. We stand corrected. And that's actually a relatively good picture of Steve Bannon.
Honestly, that is the nicest picture of him. That's the most flattering image of his face that I've ever seen. Usually he looks like he's cosplaying somebody's ass. So good for him in this image.
I haven't heard that one before. But look, fairest show in America. You see that? We found the best picture of Steve Bannon. Doesn't help, but still. Who's next?
All right. Next up, I believe this is Eric Trump. The forgotten Trump son. Oh God.
Brutal, brutal. I mean, he's like, is it Beavis or Butthead? I think he's Beavis.
Butthead.
You think he's Butthead? Oh, could be. But by the way, fairest show in America. On the other hand, Ivanka's hot. Just ask Trump.
Okay, next one up. God, he's such a looker. Mitch McConnell.
Oh, the turtle.
It's hard to look at. It's literally, it's bad. It's the combo between the eyes and the teeth and the neck flap. It's just all gross.
No, he's so unattractive that we go in our shell when he comes out. Okay, hey, listen, guys, we didn't want this. We didn't want to start this, but Tim Pool wants to compare who's hotter. Okay, we'll be your Huckleberry.
I'll say also Tim Pool was pretty much positioning himself to lose that conversation when he's sitting next to Emma Vigeland, an objectively attractive woman, saying, "Oh, well, right wingers like myself are much hotter than left wingers like you." It's like, she's a gorgeous woman and you are very bald and you wear the same beanie for your entire life. Potentially you came out the womb with it on. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure, Tim.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, come on, dude, a little self-awareness. I hadn't thought of that point, Ray. That's a great point. I mean, he's telling Emma, like, your side's unattractive. Dude, bounds of reason, bounds of reason. And look, guys, I'm self-aware. Am I a looker? I could use to lose some pounds, okay? And by the way, before, when I didn't weigh as much, and I happen to think I looked better back then, and then I gained weight. And is that how it works? Like, and then once you do, they all become Democrats? I don't think I've seen that study. I don't think I have, okay, and I'll just speak for myself. And I would be self-aware that if I was, for example, interviewing Ivanka, I wouldn't be like, hey, your side's super ugly, man. Oh, me, on the other hand, I'm super hot. No, and don't insult me, I'll catch feelings.
But as long as we're speaking of super hot, why don't we show this picture of Rudy Giuliani literally melting because of how hot he is?
Oh, man, I underestimated the right wing. They are more unattractive than I imagined.
Honestly, and it didn't take much time to think of, okay, who are some ugly right-wing politicians? Oh, most of them, including the man himself, Donald Trump. Here we have his hair flying away.
Look, the only guy who could rivals me for being more overweight. Come on. I mean, you see that giant tire iron he's carrying around? Yeah, a glass house, I'm aware of it, right? But then they're like, oh yeah, he's such a stud. What? Okay, all right.
I love when conservatives edit the flags to be like Donald Trump with a 6-pack holding a machine gun. Those are my favorite things I've ever seen in the wild. My family's from northern Wisconsin, so whenever I go up to visit them, people have, there's a lot of lakes in Wisconsin, so people have boats that have giant Trump flags off the end. All of them, Trump with a 6-pack. They are really like sexually attracted to the man. And it's guys' boats, it's not women's boats. It's the guys who, honest to God, I'm sorry, they want to Donald Trump. They want to fuck him real bad.
Okay, I wouldn't suggest it, but he'll be your huckleberry. He'll definitely screw you. He'll take your votes, he'll take your money, he'll take it all. But if that's your thing, we're libs. Okay, we are open to all lifestyles. Okay, so have at it, Hoss. And for the record, to be clear, no, I don't think the right wing is less attractive. I think we're all human beings and we range in that spectrum. And it's absurd to have this conversation. We're just doing it because he started it.
Right. Also, I mean, to say, like, when it comes to politicians, who are right-wing politicians? People who've been groomed to be good in front of the camera. I mean, they're not, on the left wing, I think you're more likely to have people who genuinely are passionate about politics. They believe what they're saying. On the right wing, you're more likely to have people who grew up in rich families and have achieved nothing but aspire to have all the power in the world. And I think that they're more likely to be people who are pushed forward into politics because the Republican Party thinks they look good on camera versus how they actually are presenting the policies they support, which I think is more likely to be seen on the left wing.
Yeah, I'll actually do a needless caveat on that. I actually think it's corporate politicians that are in that category, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, because who cares? They're just widgets, right? So like progressives and maybe even extreme right have real opinions. They're real people, so they'll be all across the spectrum, right? But if you just need a widget to run, a corporate Democrat or a corporate Republican, you prefer a more attractive widget. That's why when in 2016, they on the Democratic side, when they were running for president, I don't know if you even remember this guy, but there was a guy that the mainstream media thought would be the real challenger to Hillary Clinton, not Bernie Sanders. And they assumed that because they looked at Bernie Sanders and they were like, oh no, he's not telegenic, so there's no way he can win, the media assumed. And they assumed the guy who was going to give a challenge to Hillary Clinton was Martin O'Malley, because he was a very attractive former Democratic governor. And he was a total corporate robot, and no one had any interest in him on the left. On the right, though, it might play better because they might be like, ooh, we only care about superficial things. I'm attracted to that guy. Shoot, if you're attracted to Donald Trump, man, those corporate politicians are gonna look delicious to you.
Honestly, I'll just say, as someone who knows what Martin O'Malley looks like, I take umbrage with the idea that he's a very attractive man. But maybe to the voting base, they were trying to appeal to Martin O'Malley's a little sexy. Not to me, but
fairest show in America. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.